During this morning's stream, we got onto the topic of cheating, weighted dice, and the drama that happened last week where someone tried to flush him down the toilet, and in the process, I think we may have come up with the absolutely perfect solution to prevent people from using weighted dice at tournaments, and then things just got increasingly out of hand from there, and I can only apologise for what followed. This is what you need to do, right? This is what you need to do. You want to stop cheating at your tournaments. Given that we've already had an incident where someone took weighted dice to a tournament, people noticed, they got called out, panicked, tried to flush them down the toilet, which, you know, obviously led to this incredible picture, which, if they sold replicas of those, right, if they mass-produced those and sold them, I would buy one. I would legit buy one, and I would hang it, like, there somewhere. I would totally have that in my office. I would absolutely do it. And if you think you wouldn't do it, you're lying to yourself, because you know you would. You know that you would, in fact, do that. But, absolutely correct. Put salt in all the toilets. Before a tournament, right, before people show up, you give the place a good clean. Then, you just take a big sack of salt, you dump the salt into the bogs. That way, if someone has a silly moment and decides that they need to dispose of the evidence, not only will they not flush, because of course they're like weighted with lead and therefore can't go anywhere, but by trying to dispose of them down the toilet, it's immediately proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that even without flushing, they are totally weighted, because they will rotate and show the opposite side. It's a perfect solution. I want to see this implemented everywhere, right? No matter where the tournament is, no matter what the tournament is, whether it's for AOS, Warcry, 40k, Horus Heresy, anything, I want to see venues taking salt and dumping it down the toilets just to be sure, right? Because you don't know. You don't know when people could be cheating. And the best way to combat it and to make sure that, you know, there's no disposing of evidence, you just pour the salt in ahead of time. You are set. There's no way that people can get away with it. There's just no way that people will be able to get away with it. The only thing is, if they do be sensible and just chuck them in the bin, that's where things get a little bit trickier. Unless, okay, look, bear with me here, right? I think we're onto something here. Unless what you do, decoy bins. You have bins, but you do not just have like a bin liner in it. No. You take those bins, you fill them with water, with salt water. You put a little reservoir in it, fill it with salt water. That way, if someone engages the brain a bit more and they don't immediately try and flush lead dice down the toilet and they chuck them in the bin, they still get caught. There's no way around it. There's no escaping it. They can't stop you from finding out that they've cheated, because no matter where they throw those dice, no matter where they chuck them, they end up in salt water and they look like an idiot. I mean, it is a foolproof, flawless plan. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Nothing could possibly go wrong. As long as no one uses the toilets, which is admittedly a bit of an ask. This is like a, you know, a tournament. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stress. It might be that people actually need to use the toilets for actually going to the toilet, in which case filling them all full of salt water could have some like negative side effects. As long as no one does that, right? And also, people are inclined to put stuff in bins that isn't dice. But then again, paper won't matter, because paper will just like disintegrate, so that'll be fine. Anything solid, that'll cause an issue. And you want to keep the recycling bins free, because otherwise you're just going to end up with like stuff everywhere, just trash all over the place. Although, bottles float. Bottles float. Cans, if you put them in the right way, they also float. Ask people to place their garbage, their trash, their rubbish carefully in the bin, and you can have a nice, even surface where stuff is just floating. That way, when the dice hits, the dice will be heavier than like an empty plastic bottle because of the lead in them. It'll push the stuff away, float nicely on the surface, and once again, you'll still be able to tell if people are cheating. This is the way forward. This is how all tournaments must be organised from now on. Bins full of salt. Toilets full of salt water. You give your attendees a glass of water for free. Salt water. All of them. Make it inescapable. Just make it so that no one can dispose of these things ever again. And then you won't have to fish them out of the toilet as well. That's the other benefit. Someone does chuck them down the toilet, they won't have to fish them out. Might get the hand all the way in. So they'll just be floating on the top. You just get a little net. Just have a little dice net and just lift them out. I think we're onto something here. I think we should patent this. Can you patent a toilet full of salt water? Is that something we can patent? I don't think that is something you can patent. I'm pretty sure if it was, someone might have already done it. Do you think someone's already patented that? I don't know. I don't know. It seems kind of likely. I mean, I think we've really stumbled on something here, gang. Each toilet reservoir comes equipped with one whole Himalayan salt lamp. Oh, a punch bowl full of salt water at the entrance. That's very sensible. You could get people to test them individually. But, then again, people are underhanded. They might sneak it in. That's the thing, right? A punch bowl full of salt water at the entrance only solves the issue of honesty. Because the people who just dump all of their dice in, you're good with them. You know that it's fine. But someone might just sneak a couple past, never test them, and you wouldn't know, but people would assume. People would assume that they have been tested because they've gone past the salt-filled bowl, punch bowl, I can't talk. They will have gone through that. So they've already built up an element of trust with the people around them because it'll be assumed that they're honest. But we can't trust them, right? We can't trust them. That's the thing. That would introduce a bit of honesty. And we don't want people to feel like everyone's being honest. We want to pressure them. We want to make them on edge. We want to make them a little bit like wary, a little bit scared. And then we want to make them chuck dice down the salt-filled toilet so that you can catch them red-handed. That's red-handed is maybe not the best term for that. New idea. All dice should be legally required to be 90% lead to prevent weighting. Lead dice only tournaments. Alright. We have two different methods here then. We have the every receptacle, be it toilet or bin, is full of salt water, or we insist that attendees only bring lead dice. Those are the two solutions we've come up with. And I think there's legs. I think there's legs here. I think we could easily achieve a great way of preventing cheating in further tournaments going forward. I think we're onto something here. Make everyone lick their dice before the tournament, and if they refuse, there must be lead inside. You know what? Actually, that would absolutely separate the wheat from the chaff, right? That would separate the men from the boys, because you know that there'd be some of them that would be like, oh no, I want to lick the dice so that way they don't think I'm cheating, but I'll get lead poisoning and die. But there will be one absolute maniac, one complete nutter, who just takes it and just sticks it in his mouth, swirls it around a little bit, giving you the mad eye at the same time, just and then take it out, and he'll go down. He'll be in hospital by the end of the week, but no one will think he's cheating, and he'll win. That's the problem with that. There will be at least one utter maniac who's just good with it. Just good with it and just goes through with it. That's what's going to happen there, I'm telling you right now. You need a I Lick My Dice merch t-shirt. If I put a I Lick My Dice t-shirt on Teespring or something, would you buy it? Because I don't think you will. I don't think you will buy it. I don't think you would buy that, but I'm prepared to do it. Why am I trying to do this? I'm not good at, I'm doing this in Photoshop. When you do this in Illustrator, I don't know.
A few minutes later.
This is easily the worst merch that anyone's ever made. This is absolutely unacceptable. It is borderline illegible. The D doesn't look like a D, because we tried to make it into a 6. It just looks like a B instead. It just says, I lick my bice. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything to anyone. And yet, here we are. That was absolutely a colossal waste of time. I mean, if you want to buy one, which you shouldn't because it's awful, look, seriously, no. It's bad. That's bad. That's not good. That's bad. Why? There's a link in the description. If you want to support this, which you shouldn't, then you can, but you shouldn't. And I'm telling you right now, you definitely shouldn't. Why did I spend the time on it? Why?